The video will begin in a moment. Click the links in the description below to get your copies of my books today. The Shadow Angel Genesis is the story of a vampire who has spent 500 years serving as the Vatican's personal monster hunter. The true story of Mrs. Claus is a wholesome but creative reimagining of a character who is well known but often overlooked. And keep your eyes open for my upcoming murder mystery, the South Bend Dark Frog Murders. Thank you for your continued support. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Robert Canter. I think we can all agree that Dragon Ball's cast is too much of a sausage fest. As of the Tournament of Power, the only woman in Universe 7 that was capable of keeping up with Goku and Vegeta was Android 18. The Z-Fighters desperately need more female members, which is one reason why so many fans want Android 21 canonized. During the Majin Buu arc, we met Videl, daughter of Hercule and Gohan's eventual wife. During this time, Videl learned to harness her ki and fly, something Chi-Chi never did. Unfortunately, Videl was never developed beyond being Gohan's love interest. This is no doubt due to the fact that she's only human and appeared very late in the story. In fact, the Cell Saga was supposed to be the end of the story. For a while, other human characters like Krillin, Yamcha, Tien Shinhan, and Chaozu were able to keep pace with Goku, but they largely stopped being relevant after the first season of Dragon Ball Z. This is partially because of the Zenkai boost, which causes Saiyans to increase in power whenever they recover from near death or serious injury. And then there are the various transformations that multiply their powers. The power of the Saiyans is obvious, but it's also no mystery that power levels are sometimes irrelevant, and not just because Dragon Ball has some serious scaling problems. This has caused some fans to ask, do power levels really matter? The answer is both yes and no. According to official sources, the whole point of introducing power levels was to show how unreliable and meaningless they were. During the Saiyan attack, Piccolo couldn't stand up to Nappa, but after 45 days of running on Snake Way, spending a week training on King Kai's planet, and then assimilating Nail, he's able to fight Frieza in his second form. Then, during the Goku Black arc, Goku and Vegeta went Super Saiyan Blue and struggled against Goku Black and future Zamasu. Yet future Trunks pulls Super Saiyan Rage out of thin air and is able to stand his ground against them. However, on multiple occasions, beings with higher power levels have been able to overrule anything a weaker one can do. When Vegeta fought Super Buu, he was turned into candy. Despite having no arms or legs, or organs of any kind, he was still able to kick Boo's ass. But official resources suggest this was partially due to the Katara earrings. Then there were the times both Goku and Jiren were able to overcome Hit's temporal distortion powers. There's also the issue of Hakai, the power used by gods of destruction to destroy everything. The only way to survive it is to surpass that god of destruction in power. This is how Vegeta was able to defeat Toppo in the Tournament of Power. This raises the question, is it possible for humans in the Dragon Ball multiverse to overcome their limitations? Technically, Krillin and the other human Z-Fighters are already superhuman. The purpose of Master Roshi's training was to break the human barrier. On paper, this is more impressive than Saitama's own training in One Punch Man, Though admittedly, this is a bad example, given that One Punch Man is a satire. The Z Fighters have used both King Kai's planet and the hyperbolic time chamber to train. Both of these places have 10 times Earth's normal gravity. In real life, this would crush a normal person's bones, killing them. It's certainly possible for mortals in the Dragon Ball multiverse to become deities, as evidenced by Toppo being in line to become Universe 11's new god of destruction. And why should Saiyans be the only race of mortals in Universe 7 capable of harnessing divine ki? If nothing else, the mortals can always use the Dragon Balls. Super Shenron can do anything, but the Super Dragon Balls can only be retrieved and used by divine beings. Shenron was able to take Piccolo beyond his limits. His new orange form puts him on par with Goku and Vegeta. Taranbo was able to take Granola and Gas far beyond their limits and make each in turn the strongest in the universe, but at the cost of greatly reducing their lifespans. With all this taken into consideration, we can safely assume that Videl and the other human characters in Dragon Ball could easily overcome their limitations if Toriyama cared enough. Let's put it all together and see what we come up with. After witnessing the threats that exist in the multiverse, and not wanting to be left in the dust by her husband and even her own daughter, Videl subjects herself to an intense training regime to overcome her limitations. Eventually she hits a wall, but that doesn't stop her from trying. Maybe Lord Beerus was impressed by her determination. Maybe he was just bored and needed something to amuse him. Or maybe Grand Zeno complained about there not being enough female fighters in Universe 7. Whatever the case, Lord Beerus gathers the Super Dragon Balls and wishes for Videl to become one of the most powerful fighters in the multiverse. Being more creative with names than Piccolo, she dubs this new state Limit Breaker. That's all I've got to say. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and if you really want to help this channel out, then click the links in the description below and buy my books.